Hello and welcome to another episode of Atomic Vinyl Reviews! My name is Jacob and today I'm just doing a quick little video showing you guys a project that I've been working on for some time now. I brought this guy into the intro here just because he's kind of relevant to this guy here. You may have seen I did another video talking about Wolfie right here. He's my werewolf puppet made of latex and a whole bunch of other different materials. I made him in high school, at the very end of high school as an art project back then. Basically, I want to make a hand puppet version of Godzilla because, this guy's, I'm pretty proud of this guy. He's pretty cool, pretty unique. And I'm kind of a Godzilla freak, so I should make a similar thing with Godzilla. Hence, today's project. I have a sculpture that I have been working on for some time. It's still not finished, it might take a while more, of the 1954 Godzilla. I'm doing a head sculpt of this guy in not really a life-size scale to what the suit would be, a little bit smaller. So what I intend to do is I'm going to turn this guy into a hand puppet. I don't know if you guys have been following, but on the Atomic Vinyl Reviews Facebook page, you might have seen that I've been doing some work on some other custom sculpts, mainly this guy here, which is a little Hedorah. I don't even know what you'd call this thing, just like a little sculpture round pendant thing. You got Hedorah there and he's like eating pollution out of some smokestacks there. This is a little sculpture that I made and I'm going to be making copies of it. As you can see, this is a mold I made here. I haven't actually done the copies yet, but that's something in the very near future that I'm going to be doing, as well as a whole bunch of other sort of custom sculpt stuff. I have a lot of ideas. That's what I've been working on during this whole quarantine time, stuck at home, losing my mind. And another thing I've been working on is this guy here. I'm a huge fan of the original 1954 Godzilla. I love the design. I absolutely love the movie. So naturally, that was the design that I really wanted to go for. Quite a while ago, I did start this sculpt here. It was very rough and very sort of inaccurate. So recently, over the past couple of weeks, just in my free time, I've gone back in and I've been resculpting him and making him better and more improved. And this is the stage at which we are at right now. Meet Showa Godzilla right here. Or Shodai Goji, I think is what they call him. I could be wrong. So he is made of a material called Monster Clay. It's this very good sculpting material. It's this very sort of waxy plasticine-like material that gets really solid when it's at a fairly cooler room temperature, but the moment you start working it with your hands, it gets nice and soft and it carves beautifully and is just so great to work with. So that's what I've been making this guy out of. As you can see here, I've been trying to make him as close as I can to the original thing. So I'll just kind of show you guys this detailing a little bit more up close. The real trickiest thing is trying to get that rough texture of Godzilla's skin accurate with this guy, because it's a very sort of it's a very visceral and random sort of detailing, but it also has to be done right. And so I'm still working on it and it's still getting there, but hopefully given some time he'll get even closer and a little bit more accurate. As you can see, I haven't done much detailing around the neck here, but mostly this side of his face here is finished. I've also been sort of restructuring his little crest of rough scales up here, and just trying to get some detailing in there. His eyes are made of macadamia nuts that have been put inside plastic, because under this clay there's a whole inner structure of stuff that holds him together. That's just like a Pringles can filled with wooden beads to try and give him some weight while I was working on him initially, and newspaper, and that was wrapped up in plastic foil and tape, and that's what I put the clay over. And he doesn't have his teeth yet, so that's all going to come later once this is done. But what I'm going to do is when I finish this sculpt, I am going to make a mold of this thing using silicon, which is going to be a very difficult and expensive process, and then I'm going to make latex copies of this design, and then, put in all the extra details, the teeth, the eyes, the inner mouth, and all that sort of stuff, and hopefully make some cool hand puppets of this guy, and maybe even sell a couple to you guys. I'm trying to trying to share some of my sort of fan projects with you guys if I can. They do take a lot of time and effort, so I haven't really finished any of them as of yet, but I'm really trying to get there with some of these things. So I'm really proud of how this guy here is coming out. I think, yeah, he's turning out pretty good. I still see a lot of inaccuracies in the sculpt, but I'm slowly trying to, work those out and, just try and get him to be as close as possible, at least to my ability. Because, I used to be really into sculpting and drawing and art and sort of that. I was a bit of a child prodigy at that sort of stuff. Then I got sent off to uni because everyone was kind of making me go to art uni. So I did, and it was freaking depressing, and I hated it, and I kind of lost my passion to do anything in any sort of visual art medium for quite a while. And so recently I'm trying to get back into that, the spirit of that, because it's been a couple of years since then. Uh, so this is one of my ways of doing that, and these sort of projects, sharing them with you is one of those ways. So I'll just briefly show you a couple of other sculpts of the original Showa Godzilla, just so you can kind of see what he's meant to look like. Here's that like Bandai Deluxe poster version figure that I spent an arm and a leg on, but I really love. And I did a review of him earlier. It's got a fairly accurate sculpt as well, which is really cool, especially for more sort of stylized Sofubi Bandai type figure. It's actually pretty decent. And got this little card here with a actual photo from the film, which helps quite a lot in kind of giving you guys an idea of what this guy should look like. And we've got the X Plus, which the X Plus actually has not the most accurate face sculpt, surprisingly. I don't know, never been overly fond of this particular incarnation of this design. He's always seemed a little bit not quite as accurate as he could be. Still not a bad figure. I love this thing, but I don't know, he's one of the older X Plus figures now, so they're getting a lot better recently, especially with the Yuji Sakai line of figures. The modeling collection, Yuji Sakai modeling collection, that one, I love those figures. But this is one of those other sort of generic X Plus figures. Still not a bad sculpt. And then we get to probably the best one that I've got, the most accurate one, would be the Monster Arts, at least going by the face sculpt, so I'll just show you guys that. There we go. He's got a very cute face in this one. Even though he's really sort of menacing and evil in that film, he does have a really sympathetic sort of expression on his face as well. So you can also open his mouth as well, just to show you. So there's a classic look for our 1954 Godzilla, and I've been working pretty hard to try and pull that off with this guy. I'm trying to make it really detailed and accurate and all that sort of stuff, because if my werewolf hand puppet back in the day, I made his skin really smooth, and I wasn't really expecting a lot of details to come through, so I didn't focus on them. But it turns out that quite a bit of them did come through in that latex. Like, see the texturing that I did to smooth it out in the actual latex, because I did make that same werewolf head out of this same clay, believe it or not. I've reworked it into this Godzilla shape, and I was using the same method. I did make the mold for that one out of plaster. Well, this guy, I'm going to be making the mold out of silicon, which is a lot more expensive, but it's also going to capture a lot more detail and be a lot more flexible, so I can actually pull that mold off of this sculpture a lot easier. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to be doing some other videos on my channel on stuff like this thing here, and I'll be keeping you guys updated. If you have any suggestions on things you would like to see me sculpt and do and all those sort of things, do let me know that as well. But yeah, if you guys are keen to get like a hand puppet version of this Godzilla using the sculpt here, do let me know. I know that there are a couple of other ones that you can get from Japan that are like these sort of latex hand puppets, but they're a little bit goofy looking. They're not quite all the way there. The teeth and everything in them and the eyes are all just part of the same thing, and they're all really gummy looking. So I'm trying to get this guy to be a lot more professional looking. I'm not really sure how he's going to turn out, but I'm hoping he'll turn out good. But yeah, I'll keep you guys up to date with this thing. Unfortunately, if and when I do put out some of these, they will be a little bit pricey, just because the process to make this guy time-consuming, difficult, and expensive. But this is a little passion project of mine, so I wanted to share this with you guys. So that is it for this little, very, very brief video. I just wanted to show this thing off to you guys because I figured a lot of you guys would be interested in this. I too love seeing various different fan art projects that people are doing and stuff like that, and especially when people are making their own suits and hand puppets and stuff. It's really cool. So I thought I'd show you mine, since he's been kind of hidden from the world for quite some time. And there we go. Yeah, this side needs a little bit of work, but this side's getting pretty close in terms of accuracy. I've also been using reference photos from the remade suit, because they made a remake of the 54 suit, because, you know, that one's probably all destroyed by now, but they made a remake, and they've been made some short films using that in Japan recently. So I've been using photos of that one as a reference as well, because it's really hard to get really clear images of the original 54 suit, especially since it looks really different in different shots and angles, because they did have two versions of it. One of them they cut up for close-ups and all this stuff, so the design isn't as consistent as some of the other future era suits. So he can kind of shift from angle to angle, shot to shot, especially when they were using the literal tiny hand puppets in the making of that film. So it's really hard to get like a really canonical, definitive image of the Showa original Showa 54 Godzilla, but I'm trying my best. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. I'll keep you guys updated. Be sure to like and or subscribe if this is the kind of thing you're interested in. And yeah, may all your vinyl be irradiated vinyl. Over and out.